I've learned so many. Everyone has a price, bro. Everyone has a price.
Bro, that's it. They said no to us from the start. I was like, I learned this from Grant Cardone, and I was telling Andy, I was like, bro, I'm watching Grant Cardone, I'm watching Alfred. I go, let's put this to test. Let's get thrown out of the office. Like, remember he says that.
Yeah, bro. Keep going, keep pushing.
But we didn't even need to get to that stage. The guy was, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you guys a chance because you seem like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
How do you know? Like, he knows what we're doing, but it's like because we kept calling to say, okay,
we
can do this.
Bro, money's in follow up, bro. I'll keep it, bro.
And now, my ultimate goal is to get the top floor when they can't rent it from the 6 months later because build to rent rights, all investors in it.
Keep following that up.
And we're going to say, why don't you partner with us? We'll give you 60%, we'll keep 40, or we'll give you 70, whatever. We'll keep 30, you know?
It don't matter, because now they trust.
But we're partners with you. They're the biggest one of the biggest developers in the country. So,
Jesus.
So yeah.
Praise God, bro.
Alright guys, I am back. It's Alfred Dzadey here. For the guys who don't know me, I'm a property investor / business investor. Today I am bringing a good friend of mine. You've seen my channel before. If you haven't, go check out one of the previous videos to see his progression as well. So if you haven't seen already in the title, his name's Rana. He is a businessman who has done really well in the UK and now has grown his business into Dubai and potentially, who knows, might go to the world. But his business is in service accommodation. He's done really well. I'm really proud of him. So I brought him on here to discuss where he's at the moment, how he started, and talk a bit more about where he's going to next as well. So, Adam, thank you for coming on. How's it going?
Thank you. All good. Good afternoon, everyone. And good afternoon to you as well. Thank you for inviting me on here. Very excited that what we're going to talk about today because we always have good chats and we always seem to catch each other after like we made some progress. So you're coming from...
It's been a while. You've been in Dubai for a while. So Adam kind of is now I don't know. Half the time you're like, where are you, bro? Are you in Dubai? Are you in Birmingham? Where are you at?
Yeah.
So obviously that's great. Just talk us out. What made you obviously to probably wind it a bit back just in case nobody's ever heard of you. Like how did you get into service accommodation? How you built a business in Birmingham and then now in Dubai and expanding. How's that all come about?
So service accommodation is basically for people who don't know what service accommodation is. It's basically short-term rentals, holiday rentals. Airbnb is what people tend to call it, but it's a bit more than Airbnb. How I got into it, essentially, I'll keep it short and sweet. I got into property and realized there are other ways to make passive income, not just buy to let and not the standards, right? You know, such as HMOs and short-term rentals. So I do other strategies like buy to lets and commercials, but this strategy pays me the most best way of leveraging passive income, basically.
Yes.
So this is how I got into it. This is what excited me. But one of the biggest excitement factors for me, and I always say this to my peers or people who want to get into it, is you got to have the drive, you got to have the passion for customer service and giving value. Like this is what customer service like. It's like hotel. It's like making sure customers are happy. It's not just sits there actually passive. You got to have your team driven to have the customer service passion. Yeah,
no, that's a big point you just made there, because I feel like your business is literally is based on your reviews on how people experience the experience, and it's not just about experience of the building, and it's more about how the service, your interaction, how quickly you guys respond to them if they've got a query. So I think if that's your top of your priority, then there's the only thing that's going to be, I guess, the only thing that would for you that's top of top of the list in terms of what would make your business stand out to others alone. Even that attribute of just having a great customer service or experience for people coming into your apartments. So just talk about how obviously you initially started in Birmingham, where you got to in Birmingham before deciding you want to branch out, and why you decided to go and explore. Or did you even plan?
Yeah,
I'll let you. I know the answer, but let the audience know.
Well, I think me and you are on the same page. I like to think big. 10x, you know, all of that stuff, and it does work. And this is an example, and this is the reality that it does work, right? So started 3.5 years ago originally, maybe say 4. I think it's 4 years ago exactly. On rent to rent specifically for service accommodation. Rent to rent, for people who don't know what rent to rent is. Rent to rent is a low barrier to entry into getting, you know, into controlling or having units or apartments or houses either on HMO or either on service accommodation, which is what I do. Rentals, short-term rentals. So that's how I got into it, working with landlords, working with portfolio landlords, and, you know, helping them and adding value to them and saying, look, we can provide you this rent with this service for this long, for 4 to 5 years, and then we take that into making the short-term rental money and basing that on weekly rentals, monthly rentals, or daily rentals, depending on the strategy and depending on the area. So we started this strategy with one apartment, and I think it's 2 in the first 2 months that I've got when I started back in 2018. I started in Birmingham city centre. And the reason I started in Birmingham city centre due to the location, due to the demand, due to the locality, type of people that we're expecting, like corporate business, also contractors that come here with the growth that's happening in Birmingham. So that was one of the main reasons of starting and choosing this location, and it's my hometown. So it makes it all easier. Yet there were challenges. It started here, cut the long story short, then we come to COVID. We expanded really quickly, actually, before we get into COVID, actually. We expanded from 2 apartments to 10, 20. I think went into 20 within a year and a half. And then we were hit with COVID, which was brutal. I think we had 25 to 30 apartments when COVID happened. So all of those guarantees that we've given to landlords were really set me back, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to quickly, just fully deep a bit, that I guess, deep going a bit more on that section. So what was your mindset around when COVID happened? Your rent, I guess, you're obviously having this guarantee to these landlords, and obviously you're not being able to let these properties out initially. Like, how was that? How did you feel? What was the thought? Just share that bit.
Yeah, honest feel.
Reality with people as well.
Reality is COVID does happen like once in a whatever, right? So hopefully it won't happen again. So no one had planned for it, but the reality was reality, right? So we had to pay this. I think my overheads were 30 grand a month, 27 to 30 grand a month.
Yeah.
Which were like, we had to pay the rent, we had to pay the bills, we had to pay the Wi-Fi bill, council tax had to go. This is all before the grants came. And that the reality was that is like, I can't even explain that in words because I didn't know how to feel like, because you're not gonna really go ask people for, well, you can ask investors for money, but then what are you gonna what are you investing in? You're investing in a loss, right? So I had to really think on my feet and think of strategies. What can I do to even break even? Basically, that's what I had to do, and that's what I did. So in those 6 months to a year, we just had to break even. And what we did was like, the feelings were really hard, but you have to keep going. Like, if you give up, that's when the end is. So a lot of people went bankrupt. A lot of people closed down the business. And I'm not that person. If you're in this business and claim like yourself, I'm not giving up. Like,
you gotta find a way. Commit, and the rest will follow.
Yeah. So we had to find a way. Like, I did look to speak to my peers. I spoke to you. Spoke to loads of people around me to see if someone can help, and ideas, creativity. And yes, we ended up helping our hospital staff. We're helping out people who were working in key workers, construction workers. Construction was still going on. So we ended up renting these places and getting the occupancy into break even or near break even. So in the first 3 months, I think we lost like 50 to 70K, and then we had to recover the cost. So this was that was a lot of money to lose because the rent still had to go out. So all the profits that we had saved up that paid the next 2 months rent and stuff. I had to put some of my money in, and that's the reality and that's the truth. And it was bad. And
that's good. It's good that you're sharing this kind of stuff, because I think people kind of maybe don't even see that side of, because maybe publicly people don't really talk about that or don't share that on the gram. Like, gram, everything's amazing. Look at me, I'm making 100 grand a month. Whereas obviously in reality, things do happen, and I think applause to you as a business owner, being in a position where it's difficult, challenging, and like, how the hell do I get myself out of this hole? You thinking, okay, cool, maybe I could reach out to people and find ways in which I can overcome these problems, which you did. And for you, obviously, you've gone on to do quite well in a sense. You saw the problem, you reached out, you've now found a solution. It's not ideal. You still lost money, but you're still, I guess, moving forward, broke even, and then that kind of leads you on to the venture of, well, how did the venture of going out to Dubai? How did that come about?
Yeah, I think for me, all of this reading books and going to all these seminars and going attending Grant Cardone's like you did, events in America, all these conferences, they talk about diversification, they talk about going all in, or understanding your risk appetite and all of that stuff. So I think that was for me. Was an opportunity. Like, things are all going to hell for everyone and for me, but there are opportunities in it, right? So that was my chance to prove myself, and I'm only proving myself here, and to diversify. And Dubai was the only country at that time, as I believe, was open from COVID restrictions. and I had to do something to recover my money or continue my growth. And I'm a very passionate and ambitious person, and I took that as I said, look, okay, let's go diversify, or let's try at least. I did, if I'm honest, I did go to try and benchmark. Yeah. You got to do some kind of a risk assessment. You can't just say, look, I'm going to put 20 grand in or 30. Yeah. So, I went out there, looked at the market, did the analysis that I did here. So the knowledge and the principles are the same. Right?
Applied, yeah.
Applied, what you need to do is build connections. You need to network. You need to go out there and talk to people. You need to look at the legislations, regulations, government. How does the government work? Politics and everything which affect your business. Yeah. So I looked at that. I spent about 2 months, to be fair. I guess some people say that's not a lot. I spent about 2 months and that's it. In 2021, no, 2022 now. Yeah, 2021. Yeah. First month of 20. Yeah, back end of 2020 to 21 January, I started the business of service accommodation, holiday rentals, as it's called, in Dubai. Yeah. And the rest is history, really. We've got more than 25 units now there, working with various partners. I have my own units and working with various partners, and now we're looking to work with developers there as well. And yeah, where in terms of numbers, from going to making a loss of 60k in revenue or in the COVID times, where I looking at, well, last year we made half a million in revenue, and then we're looking at 1.5 to 2 mil revenue, depending on how many units we can add on in the next coming year, and a net profit of 25 to 30%.
Yeah, that's standard for business.
Yeah,
that's good, actually. That's good.
So one of the things does happen, like we're talking big numbers, well, somewhat medium-sized numbers here compared to someone starting. Yeah. But what happens, one of the things I can say, maybe I'm doing this wrong or not wrong, but your overhead's trying to start to increase with more employment and more people. So your percentage, my percentage is going down a little bit.
So Adam, for you now, going out to Dubai and obviously doing quite well out there and obviously growing business, obviously just talk about how you've structured a team around, because obviously you tend to have 2 countries you're operating in and have a team that allows you to be able to move around and still think about growing the business and not just be in the business all the time. So talk about how you've set that up and how you've allowed yourself to kind of have that team structure.
Yeah, so you make a good point. The team structure is very important. So one of the main things we did was knowledge share between the team. So employment is one, like employing the right people is key. So I'm looking for the right people with the right experience and the management. So I'm usually looking for good managers to be able to work the business and the processes that we already have. So it's important to have the processes, and we share the processes back in Dubai and from Dubai to here, because again the principles are the same. The customer service is the same level. We have a mission. We have a mission statement and the values that we must have. So we hire on like mainly good managers, and then what we do is knowledge share. That's one of the things we do. So I flew my guys out there. One of the business development manager, flying myself out there, and then planning to bring one of the Dubai guys out here to share their knowledge and experiences. Right?
Makes sense.
So knowledge share is very important, which is experiences, right? Really, from people who have been in the business and in the same culture and the same team. So one of the key things is to create good culture, and I think I'm doing that all right so far. Our team retention is pretty good.
Bro, I tell you now, if you go to business bootcamp, I think we already talked about us going together again. I'm going to go back next year anyways. I feel like it's a yearly, even though it'll probably be the same content, there'll be some updates in there. I think just being in that room, just refreshing the information you've already learned. Because again, I always say like you hear the things different sometimes, depending on where you are in your life. So you might hear something this time around because this is where you are. So you just, certain things that have been said resonate with you more this time around because that's where you are and that's what's more important to you. But the second time around when you go again, you might hear something different which you didn't hear the first time, even though it's said both times. You're only now hearing because you now can relate a bit better. Yeah. So Miami next year, bro, I keep, like, because a lot of this stuff you're talking about right now is triggering my memories from Miami and what we're discussing. Like employee disengagement. I didn't know anything about employee disengagement. Yeah. So Brandon Dawson came on the stage and talked about and showed stats of why employees are so disengaged. And he's like, for them, the way they run their culture and their business is like, they want to know your professional financial goals for every single employee. So i.e., on the finance side, they want to know what does the employee want to do financially, like where do they want to be in 5 years time, 10 years time. They want to know like what's important to them personally as well. professionally as well, where do they want to be? So like understanding that whole trajectory. Like most companies don't ask an employee like, what would you do with your money that you make? Like they don't, investments, like talking about money management. They don't talk about that with their employees. They don't talk about how do you want to make another 100 grand this year? Like do you want to make what's your targets with income? None of that is discussed. So he's like, well, people kind of are. Majority of people are kind of earning a certain salary and aren't potentially fully struggling with their. So they're not even focused on the business. How can they help grow your business when all they can think about is how am I going to pay my bill next month? So for him, another thing for him is like all his staff needs to be above minimum wage. Like for him, his staff can't have these problems in the back of their hand. Like they need to be financially good, and it doesn't matter. You might not be there yet. You can come in as long as you can see the hunger, the drive, based on going through those goals. You have to assess that very quickly, and if you can see that you're motivated, you do whatever it takes, and you're signing up and committed to that, then he'll still take you on board.
So I focus, just very well put there what you said, I focus heavily on people. Like I learned this from when we worked in Jaguar Land Rover before, and you were in the same place, and they, because I was in the new department they created, and that's what they focused on. They brought in coaches and stuff, and this is where I learned my knowledge from, and reading Grant Cardone, reading books, and I'm putting this into practice, right? So people retention and people happiness, or team happiness, is very important. So one of the things that I do is like above and beyond the minimum wage, we do like a profit share commission structure as well. So if you're bringing me apartments or if you're bringing me deals, you're on a salary or you're a business development manager, you still get a certain percentage of my profit. And then, you know, this is what gives me the freedom a little bit, and it allows them freedom to operate at their level, and it gives them leadership opportunities as well.
You've done the right, because literally that's something we discussed as well at the boot camp. Literally, this is like something. If you went to boot camp, I think you hear and resonate with a lot of the things, and even
I was
learn
teaching
some
the
new
boot camp
tricks.
Guys.
But yeah, no, it's literally exactly what you said. Because your employees feel incentivized, like for doing extra work. Like sometimes people get into a job and kind of just get given a role, and that's all they do, and they're not seen like, I mean, like, well, if I work any extra harder, like, I don't earn any more money, so what am I bothering doing this work for? Whereas, like you said, you got some profit share, commission based structure where if you bring you new business, thank you for bringing you business. Here's your reward for bringing you new business. And you know what I mean, that's fair, and I think all owners shouldn't be greedy and want to keep the profit to themselves, because like it's going to just have employee disengagement. Because if someone's brought you business and you're not rewarding them, or like, well, I'm bringing you this much revenue, but what do I get in return? As the same salary. Like I'm also going to do my own thing. I know how to source a lead.
Exactly.
I know how to operate the business.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
We talked about passive income as well. For us, it's like I'm sharing that passive income, giving them the ownership feel where they can make they're happy and I'm happy, and I'm happy to do that. But I think one of the key points in this, and people who are listening to this got to understand, it's like you got to be satisfied within yourself to be able to do that. There can't be no jealousy, there can't be no like, oh, he's gonna do better than me. Like I think most people may not agree publicly, but I think it's like it takes time to get to that level as an individual. And that means you're the right people around you, that you got the right training in your corporate life or in your job before or whatever. Like, so I've traveled a lot, met different ages and different people from different ages, and I think I've come to a conclusion within my values and within my principle that this is what I want. And if I see you do better, I would literally be like, yo, that's sick, that's really good, and like, how can I help you to do better, and I do better as well, you know what I mean?
See, that's a great mindset there. So a lot of people kind of go into that, oh, he's doing like that jealousy mindset, rather they don't think, how can I approach this person and learn what he's doing that's working well,
and then help him, and then see we both can make some kind of money
grow together. And again, some people just, I don't know,
like obviously there's caveats to it, there's like JVs and partnerships don't always work, but that's the hardest bit of the business, people, right? But if it does work, it pays off really well, and that's where I'm genuinely, publicly, I'll say this, I'm aiming for. If I get it right, I think that's how people become wealthy or rich or whatever. Man,
I'll bring this one up. So being around Grant Cardone, his team, like Grant is at a stage in his life where he literally point blank said, so guys, the reason why we set up this mastermind is to actually bring people in here to potentially do business with. So we want to try and get it as high caliber as possible, and people kind of higher ticket even as high as possible, so that people who come in here are really serious, committed, wanting to level up, whatever. And potentially have business that we can potentially do together. And the way I during that time out there, I kind of sat back and kind of analysed a lot of things and I've just understand how he's building his wealth. So a perfect example is Brandon Dawson, who is his business partner, 50-50 business partner in Cardone Ventures. Really and truly, there's zero, I was even go as far as say zero incremental time add from Grant Cardone into that business. Brandon's the expert who's done this several times over. He sold his last business sold for 51 million. So he's come with skills of knowing how to grow business, scale businesses, all that stuff, how to improve culture, all that stuff within a business, and create a partnership where obviously Grant has a database of business owners. So he's literally created this huge funnel using Grant's brand, who are all coming into Cardone Ventures. We've got a team who go away and help businesses grow. So it's like a win-win.
Yeah.
And already, I don't know what the numbers are, but they're doing hundreds of millions already. I think they've got just under $1 billion or billion in businesses that they're helping manage and scale and grow. And that's only happened in the last 3-4 years, which is insane.
Yeah.
And it's literally added zero value, like zero value, zero value, zero incremental time to Grant Cardone, and that's the play. He's at the stage in the way he can leverage his brand, his marketing, his team, his sales, like all these things that he has attributes, teams already set up, and he's literally passing on to these other businesses and help them grow, and indirectly he becomes more wealthy with zero incremental time to himself.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what I'm saying. So like these are my first steps into that wealth, and that's where I'm aiming for.
Honestly, man, I can't wait to be in that position where literally like, because it's no brainer. Like JV's like he's like, I can, because again I learned from him, like he's very transactional.
Yeah,
he's very like, now I guess where he is in his life, the conversations he wants to have is about like big numbers. So if you're chatting to him, he's not going to chat about like, I don't know, watching football or watching, like he's not really interested in that. Like it's kind of like, what are we talking about? Business? Okay, where's the opportunity? What's the numbers? So he's at a point where he's just looking at like $1 billion ideas in terms of businesses that have that growth opportunity and also have a huge market share. So he knows I can go in there and dominate and kill that space. And do you know what I mean? Like he's for me, he's gonna make billions in so many different industries. Like Cardone Ventures alone will be $1 billion company, like easily. Because a lot of the plays are equity share as well, not just like paying a fee. And obviously there's element of cash flow business within there, where they're educating, making money through that as well. Plus, at a certain level, you can come on with a partnership, and they take I think 25% of your equity of your business to help blow your business from let's say 100 mil to $1 billion. And so again, they would have equity share in that, and that's like a no-brainer. Like, and again, if you know you can be a part of this thing, that's this I don't know what to call it. It's an ecosystem. That's doing amazing things, helping business owners grow their businesses and have a track record of doing so. It's like, why not? Why would you not get part of that? So for me, like at the moment, like being in these kind of rooms, like I had a taste of that, and I'm like, yo, I need more of this stuff, because just the mindset, being unreasonable with certain targets and just wanting to achieve things, like it doesn't, like when you say want to do, like saying in that room you want to do 10 million, like if you're looking like, you need to step that up, man. Like what's 10 million? Like 10 million, how do you, like literally the comment could be, how do you survive on 10 million? And some I feel like that's just disrespectful, but it's just, you gotta, I guess, come out of that show of someone's judging you. They're actually wanting the better for you, because they're telling you, look, there's more opportunity for you to do better, to go to 100 mil. So why stop at 10? Exactly, or why settle at 10? So for me, I'm just like being in these rooms, getting more time in these rooms around these kind of people. Is probably the best thing.
So it goes back to networking and putting yourself in places where you can level up, basically. So like we're gonna go to F1. We were talking about in Abu Dhabi.
I'm looking forward to that, man. Like, again, guys. These are ways you can network, and again,
and raise finance, and investors, and make relationships.
But there could be, I think there's a caveat to this. You can go into that room and do zero business. But people like, oh, Alfred, you're traveling here, going there. Like Adam travels a lot, but Adam is more social. Adam talks to anybody, everybody. Like he sees, like it could be standing for 2 seconds. Oh, how you alright, mate? And that's all it is. Alright, mate. How's the day going? You broken ice?
Because you don't know who they are. Like
literally, you don't know who they are.
Yeah. And even if they're like not in a bad way, even if they're not like who you want to work with, it's still a great conversation. You can learn from them. So they could be the waiter, or they could be someone working in F1.
Honestly, I don't judge any. Like I always say, take honestly, guys, do not judge book by its cover. Like just have a conversation, share some of your goals. If it's asking what you do, and again, this I guess when it comes to selling and knowing how to position yourself when someone asks you what you do, because you can just say, oh yeah, I just I don't know, I just buy some property, and
you're not adding value there.
You're not adding value, you're not saying anything really much, and like obviously there's nothing that potentially can come out of that. So position yourself well in these conversations to attract opportunities or conversations.
One of the things, like, again, goes back to my point earlier, you have to be really comfortable with your own values and principles. Like, one of the things I do want to inspire other people as well. So one of the reasons I'm here. So when I'm talking to someone who probably wants to be in our level and be sitting in F1 or working in F1 hospitality, that's what happened last year. And the guy was like, oh, I always wanted to get into this, and I'm quite excited what you're telling me. Can I take your Instagram? Can I do this? And by no lie, that made me feel good. And maybe I spent 1 hour talking to this guy, but it was good. Genuinely, it was really good. And it's not always about like what we're gonna get. It gives you a self-satisfaction of when you inspire someone, or they genuinely get happy that we give them time. You know?
Yeah, and for me, I think. Again, I'll keep going back to this Grant thing, but I think a lot of things you're saying are kind of relating to that. So Grant kind of learned this thing about from this billionaire that he was around, and he went to charity, and Grant didn't give any money, or he gave I think he gave nothing, and the billionaire noticed it. Obviously, he's a philanthropist, he gives money and he supports charities and stuff, and he kind of made the comment to Grant, like, Grant, whenever I go into a room, for me, he's in the mindset of he's going to be reincarnated and come back to life, so he likes to, wherever he goes, gives value. So he's like, I don't want to leave a room without giving value to somebody or giving something to somebody, because I want to come back again and kind of go back to these places that I gave value to and see what amazing work I've done or how I've helped these people. And I think that's so powerful. Like even when I meet people, like, if I can see I can add value to you, I'll just share with you, like, oh bro, have you thought about this? Like, have you thought about this angle? This is an opportunity you can probably get into, or like, I feel like if you went here or did this is something, like, just try and give value to people, like you can help somebody.
And we're talking about events and experiences, right? So, like, again, going back to F1, it's part of the experience, part of the 3-day experience when you go from Friday to Sunday. It's the people you met, and from different countries and different places, different age groups. Like, I met a couple with a kid, and the kid was like, I was just thinking, I never had a chance when I was 5 years old watching
to watch everyone.
And then but the dad was, this is a great story, but the dad was saying, oh look at me, what I've done. It's not like it's humble as possible. The guy was like, look, that's good that you have come and you worked the hard way to get here, which he was trying to tell his kid. But that was kind of like oddly satisfying to me, because I was just like, oh, that's good. But I spent 2 hours doing that while I was having my lunch or whatever I was doing. But I didn't make any, like, I didn't find any investors or anything that day or for the next 2 days. But I was just happy. I was just happy after the 2 days I was there. So,
and obviously these things are just relationship building. Like, just like I said, you just never know. Like, I met some great people out. Even like back out being in Mexico, like, I was just networking. Like, I think after the thing was done, I was just in a pool and I just met some people out there and we're just talking about what we do. And I met one guy, very influential in Amazon, quite high up in the company. And because I opened up and talked about how I wanted to buy transport logistic companies, and he's really got excited because that's what he does, and he's helping Amazon be more efficient and stuff. So we made a great connection there, and now I know for sure maybe one day I can hopefully poach him and bring him into my business. And it's a connection I'm going to build on. And again, you don't always have to look at like, after something transaction has to happen there and there. It can be a long-term build of relationship and catch up. We can even meet up again somewhere else. They're obviously based in America. So if I'm out in America or in the state, I can catch up with him. Like, I'm in your state. You want to meet up? That kind of stuff. So it's good networking. Like, if you guys aren't networking and talking about wanting to get out your circles, go to some nice places. It costs to obviously be in these nice places, but the conversations you have with these people will be priceless. Especially if you're going with a serious head and they can see you want growth and you want new opportunities. They would admire that and want to conversate with you. You know what I mean?
And you said a good point about going to high places. That's a journey as well. You can't just like tomorrow morning I'm like, I'm going to go to these nice places. Unless I've got money, that's fine, right? You can buy yourself to nice hotels and buy yourself to 5-star places and countries and cities. Of course you can do that, right? But not, I guess the average person does not have that. Let's just be the reality is, right? So my journey, how I did it, I started in the corporate. So if you got a good corporate job, and that's where I started. Started flying business class to work. So work was paying for it. That's where I made some of my starting connections. But one of them came from a business class lounge, right? I didn't pay.
Not even that don't even cost that much money to be in a lounge. I think like 50, 100 pound max on the airport. So go to the airport really early, chill in the lounge, and again, usually business owners for that reason take the visit the lounge.
That's what we do, and that was my journey. So this is, for me, it's a journey, and for anyone, there's no shortcuts, right? People gotta realize there's no shortcuts, and you gotta make this a journey to get into places. Now, some of the places I don't need I'm sure you as well, because we have the peer group of the people. I don't pay to be in some of the high places. Yes, I still pay. I still get to some of the, in Dubai, for example, like you can get invited to a yacht party by someone knows someone.
Yeah.
Because you added value to one person, and he knows someone who's the CEO of this business that you're interested in, or the technology or the industry, and then you're on the yacht and you're having fun and you're working.
For me, I love the two. Yeah. Being in a position where you can have fun and do business.
Yeah. But my point here is that people listening to this and stuff, and we're being really real. It's a journey. You can't just wake up tomorrow and they're gonna listen to this podcast, and they're like, "Yo, I'm."
I heard Alfred and Adam talking like, "Yo, we can go to these places and be in these rooms." It's not quite like that. Yeah.
Like, what? How long have you been doing this for? Like,
a
few years, couple of years, right? The same for me. And it's all about creating a personality and a character. Yeah. Your personality character is the most important thing to lead you to all these things.
Yeah.
And it all joins up to result in wealth or money, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah.
And success.
Exactly. Well, I think, Adam, it's been a good discussion. I think we've provided a lot of value to these guys. So, guys, I hope you guys got a lot of value of this. Adam, before we get off, where can people find you?
Yeah, so the best place is Instagram. So it's Adam R777. That's where I post all my stories and my content. You can also get me on LinkedIn or Facebook. It's Adam ADM and surname is RANA.
Yeah, we'll drop something in somewhere over here for you guys to follow him and in the bio as well.
But so if you guys have any questions, they can always ask us anytime. And
perfect.
And
perfect. Well, Adam, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
No problem.
It's been a great discussion, guys. I hope we got a lot of value out of it. If you did, please share my video with someone who you think will get value out of this, and also like the video, and any comments or any questions for Adam and myself, please drop in the comments and I'll respond, and I'll get Adam to come on and respond as well. Alright guys, see you on the next video. Take care.